Welcome, folks, to a brand new episode of Discussions with Jay. I am your host, Jay, and today I have a very special guest in the building with me today. Everybody, welcome Hope Flood. I can't believe it. I finally got her in the building. How are you doing today, Hope?
I'm good. How are you, Boo?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. Now, I know this pandemic has been so crazy. We've been talking about getting together, but the pandemic has not allowed us to get together when we wanted to, but we got together now. How are you doing?
I'm doing better. Jay, I got the Rona and I almost died in
Oh,
September.
wow. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I was in the hospital almost a month. And it wasn't even per se the Rona. That's treatable now. They can treat that, and that was treatable in 4 days. It was over. It was my oxygen. Couldn't get my oxygen down.
Really?
Yeah, and that's what people are really dying from. It's not the corona itself. It's not the virus. It's the your pre-existing conditions. It's a respiratory thing. So a lot of times I had to lay on my stomach, my sides, not on your back. And so um, I have everything to cure corona because I go to Mexico and get all kinds of I go to Tijuana, got everything. Me and my girlfriends, we go. I'm going next week. Shit. You need
I know
Viagra?
that's
What
right.
you need? Cialis, Viagra.
I think I'm good on that aspect.
Okay, you
But
good?
hey,
Okay, good.
I'm
Okay,
good.
I'm just putting it out there. Let people know I can get it for you. Okay, diet pills, whatever you need, tramadol, everything. I can get anything. Where
Well,
it's sad that
shoot.
a third world country, really a third or fourth world country like Tijuana, they have a pharmacy every two steps, like we have a liquor store, and the medication is so cheap. Just being an American citizen, we have been robbed so much. We have been robbed so much, and we've been told anything. Just like right now, the Omicron, and they said it's to gear toward 18 to 31-year-olds or whatever, like a virus knows how old you are. Okay. Like a
Okay.
because they've told us whatever and we believed them for so long. Now they're not even strategic with it. They're not even thinking. They just say, okay, this
Just
virus
tell
is
you
going
what you
to
want to
be
hear. They'll just tell you what you want, and we'll just
right.
eat. Yeah.
And
So,
we just okay, like a virus knows how old you are. Oh, you 55, not you. Oh, you 21, you. Knock it off, government and everything. So I caught corona, but I'm fine. I had to have oxygen at home. I coughed, but I had went to Atlanta to do my comics rock convention, and we could talk about that later as well. And I caught it in Atlanta. I got up enough strength to get on the flight to get home because I'd rather be sick at home than there. And got home, and
so
I
you
was
caught it twice,
no,
or
I caught it in Atlanta, and then
in
I got on the
Atlanta?
flight and got home. Because my body hurt. So it started off with just a body ache. I didn't know, Jay, that your eyelashes could hurt so bad. Okay,
Oh, wow.
everything hurt. Everything.
So, what would your advice be to those right now in
Uh,
regards to that?
Keep your immune system up. Black folks need vitamin A, C, and D. I take a lot of Dr. Sebi's products. One of my comedian friends who is a Dr. Sebi freak, Willie Lynch Jr., we're in a group called Heaven's Grocery Store, and he talks about all the herbs. I buy a lot of herbs from him as well. So I take a lot of herbs. But what happened was when I went to Atlanta, I didn't take them with me. And getting up with my convention for 5 days at like 7 o'clock in the morning, which is 4 o'clock in the morning, LA time, getting up like that and being out all night, my immune system just broke down, and it was
Mm,
raining and stuff. So what I say to people is, Jay, a part of it is the these a lot of these hospitals don't care, especially about us, especially about people of color. And when I went into the hospital and they transferred me to another hospital that treats the corona, the Persian doctor lady, she says, well, we're gonna have to put you on a ventilator. And before I could catch myself, I said, bitch, you ain't even checked my blood pressure. Why is that the first thing you want to do when it should be the last resort? You haven't treated me. You haven't seen what's wrong with me. You haven't anything. You just said, oh, you got corona, because they get $13,000 per patient. Then they get another $40,000 to treat something that they treat with four days of pills that cost probably $2 or $3. And so I knew not to get ventilated, because the problem with the ventilator is you have to have somebody there to turn you on the ventilator. You have to be turned every hour. So people get on the ventilator and they don't make it because of lack of staff. Nobody there to turn you. And that's a
Really?
lot of things. Yes, that's a lot of stuff they won't tell you. The other thing is, I always said the vaccine are getting the unvaccinated sick. And I never had the medical theory. It was just something that got dropped in my spirit. And then when a friend of mine caught it, he told me his doctor said, when you get the vaccination, you are supposed to quarantine for 14 days because the vaccination, just like the flu shot, gives you the flu. It gives you the corona to build up the antibodies in you. So you're
Right.
supposed to vaccinate for 14 days so you don't give it to other people. And that's not what they're doing. Vaccinated people going out just like iPhone users think they're better than the Android users. It's like I'm vaccinated and stuff, and they're just out and about and they're spreading it and everything. But because you're supposed to quarantine, well, why don't they tell you that? Because if millions of people are vaccinated and then they have to quarantine for 14, the world was shut down again. We go back to phase 1. So that's why they really don't tell you that, And so what I would tell people when you go in there or you got a family member or something like that, don't get ventilated. Don't let them ventilate you. And like I told him, I said, I'm talking to you just like you and I are talking. I'm not short of breath. I'm not any of that. So why are you saying that? You got to do what they call proning. It's where you lay on your stomach and you put your arms out in front of you. And
Okay.
that's how you have to breathe, or you lay on your side. You got to get up and move around, even though you don't feel like it, because you have to strengthen the lungs. And the most important thing was I couldn't talk for 2 weeks. They told me, do not talk. I could not talk. All I could do was text people. I had them call a hospital to check on me. Make sure you have that type of support where people can call the hospital, to let them know that you got people that love you and care about you.
Let them know that somebody cares. Yeah,
Somebody
absolutely.
cares. Yes.
Well, I'm absolutely glad that you are doing so well now and you are better and you're still here with us. I've
Yes.
had a couple of friends that suffered pretty dearly from this virus, and it is pretty bad. And there has to be something that needs to curb this and get us back to a form of normalcy.
That's
Now,
true.
I heard that from a little birdie that told me you grew up in LA.
Well, yes, but I am from Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm from the Midwest, Benton Harbor, Michigan. And then my mother came one day and living with my grandmother. She pretty much raised me. And my mother came one day and kidnapped my brother and I, and we came to LA. And since I was 6 years old, and I've been here ever since in LA. And then in 2004, I did move to Dallas, which I consider my second home. All my Dallas people, I love y'all and miss y'all. I lived in Dallas for 7 years, and then I went to Atlanta for about a year, and then I moved back home in 2012. So I've been here back home in LA since 2012, though. But I've been here my whole life.
So how was it growing up in LA?
Coming from Michigan and being a young girl and I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know what that was. I used to help my teacher teach the other kids. They wanted to skip me 2 grades and my grandmother wouldn't let them. And so I would just be the teacher's aide and helping with the other kids and stuff. And then coming to a big city like California. And I was a pretty girl. I had long, beautiful hair, like almost this color, sandy blonde. And I was a little chunky and I didn't know how to fight. And one day, this little bald-headed black girl, she came and confronted me about something. I was like, what? And then I hit her and ran, Jay, and I fell I slipped in some water and fell, and she beat me up. And I said, either I'm gonna have to learn how to fight or I'm gonna have to get funny. I gotta do one or the other. I'm gonna have to learn how to fight. I'm gonna have to fucking get funny. So I chose to get funny and keep them off of me. And that's the last time anybody put their hands on me. And I just became funny and talk crazy. And so nobody bothered me anymore. But from South Central LA, my mother, a single mom trying to raise, my mother like 20, 26, 27, trying to raise my brother and I, my older brother, 3 years older than me, my brother Pierre, and trying to raise us, working a lot. And my mother's main goal was to get me out of high school without me being pregnant.
Okay.
That was her goal. Okay. And she achieved that goal. But it was, I think that if you could live in California, you could live anywhere in the world.
Okay.
It's
Now
one of
they say that about New York. What makes LA different than New York?
New
If you,
York. I love New York too. I love New York for about 10 days, and then I got to get the fuck away from New York. 10 days I could do New York. On the 9th day, I'm like, it's time to go, And my girlfriends be like, stay, stay, stay. I'm like, girl, I cannot take New York. I love the people in New York. I've made some amazing long-term friendships with people in New York, but I cannot stand the rats are so big, the cats don't fuck with them. That's how bad.
Wow. Okay. Now we're going somewhere.
Yeah, if you could be outside, like in Harlem or somewhere, and just talking outside, and you see the trash and it's rustling. Those are rats and stuff, and they huge, and they're not afraid. They're all in the subways and come out the drains and the holes in the subways, and they be playing on the platform like kids and stuff, and I'm like, I can't. Whatever rats. I'm just terrified of rats and stuff. So that's why New York, but I love New Yorkers. I love the shopping in New York and the food and the people. I love the DJs. When you go to the clubs, the DJs are off the chain.
Nice.
And everything. So but I grew up in South Central LA, and then my mother moved us to Inglewood. And I thought we had moved to Beverly Hills, and it was just so clean and nice, and I lived there for pretty much until 2004 when I moved to Texas and stuff. So now I live in downtown LA.
Nice. Now, at what part or how old were you when you realized that going into comedy or being a comedian was going to be your thing?
I knew I wanted to be an entertainer since I was 5 years old.
Okay.
My grandmother used to, especially at Easter, she would dress me up on Easter, and I would do all the Easter speeches at Sinbad's father's church. Sinbad is like a family member. His family and our family all grew up together, so we call ourselves cousins and things. And his father had the biggest church in our hometown, and that's where he buried my grandparents, my great grandparents, and everything. He baptized all of us, his dad, and so I would do all the Easter speeches. And so I loved that attention. I'm a Cancerian and stuff, a Cancer, Bill Cosby's a Cancer, Robin Williams, Lena Horne, all the big greats are Cancers and stuff. And we just love that attention. And that's how I got the bug for that. And then when I moved to LA, I was in every school play. I was in every talent show. I used to do the Martin Luther King speech on Martin Luther King weekends and in front of the whole school. And so I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera since then.
Nice. Awesome. Well, folks, stay with us. I got Hope Flood in the building with us. She's not going nowhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, you. Me? Yes, you. What up? Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Hell yeah! GLM Designs can help you with just that. Word? From laptop skins? You lying! Promotional flyers? Yo, son! Promo videos? I need that! OBS Twitch overlays and backgrounds. Hey, yo, let me get that! Professional one-sheets and so much more. Oh my god. Please visit our website, I'm on it right now! GottaLoveMeWorld.com today to check out our designs. Get it! Follow us on social media at Gotta Love Me World. Follow it! GLM Designs are here to take care of all your graphic needs.
Welcome back, folks. You're watching a brand new episode of Discussions with Jay. I have a special guest in the building, Hope Flood. She's still with us, just having a very in-deep conversation just about her life and her career. Talking about you finding your niche in regards to when you wanted to be funny and be an entertainer. When did you notice, or when did you feel like you were getting noticed or got to your first big break?
Oh, it took years. I started doing comedy in 1989, and I was working a little job, and the girl that was our coach and teacher, I think we all got up and said what we really wanted to do in life, and I just said I hadn't discovered stand-up until later. So I was in school plays and talent shows. We did skits like in Living Color, things like that. So I didn't discover stand-up until later. And so, but I've been telling all my friends I wanted to do stand-up comedy. I just had never seen us on TV. The only things I ever seen was like the MTV half-hour comedy specials or something like that. But I had never seen Black women actually on TV doing stand-up comedy. So I didn't even know where to start.
Oh, wow.
And so in 1986, I had just had my son, and I was sitting around, and I saw Whoopi Goldberg's one woman show where she did the 5 characters on Broadway.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's what inspired me to really do that, because I saw a woman of color, and I was like, okay. And then I worked this job. After that, a couple years later, I started working a job, maybe about 4 years later, and the trainer was like, what do you guys really want to do? I said, I think I want to be a stand-up comedian. I looked around, I said, who said that? I was like, oh, that was me. And so she, her husband was working security at a new little comedy spot. And she asked me, did I want to go? And I said, yeah, we all went, our class went. And that's where I met DL Hughley. He was hosting. He was hosting. And I said, well, I'm an aspiring comedian. I want to do comedy. You know, how can I get on? He said, come back next week. I said, give me 2 weeks. Let me write some material, I guess. And I went, in that 2 weeks, I went around to other comedy clubs. I started getting in the circuit and finding other comedy clubs where I saw Black comedy live. And I started going around, and I came back 2 weeks, invited all of my friends and family. And they were like, you know, and they like, we've been waiting on it. And then I went up and did 15 minutes. And DL said, is that your first time on stage? I said, it's my first time doing stand-up. But I've been on the stage, you know, forever. He said, man, when you get where you're going to be a beast. And, you know, that started our friendship. We've been friends ever since. He's amazing. He's my favorite comedian. And I love him to death. And so that's where it really started. And after that, I went and got my own comedy room, my own comedy night. And I helped groom comedians. Like, I helped start a lot of comedians. Jamie Foxx, AJ Johnson, may he rest well. Ricky Harris, Marvin Thomas. Oh my God. Everybody used to come through my room. Faison Love, TK Kirkland, Joe Torre, Guy Torre, you know, all of these people, Chris Spencer, Alex Thomas, all of them used to come to my room on a Tuesday night. Earthquake, when he would come to town. And it was a training ground for comedians. And we did that for like 7 years. And
Wow.
yeah, and then Comic View happened in 97, you know, and that's kind of where it took off from there.
Got you. Now, from that time, what the struggles for a woman of color coming up in as a comedian in the entertainment world, what type of struggles were you facing?
I didn't have a dick. I mean, that's it. Yeah, I didn't have a dick, Jay. That was the main thing. And then me, I think most of my struggles is, Cat Williams told me, he said, you was the shit and you knew it. And nobody liked that. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice and play the game. When I saw how cutthroat this business was, and from where I've been raised, I got on my knees and I said, God, please, no matter what this business does, I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to lose my roots and my training and my beliefs that was instilled in me with my grandmother and my great grandmother. I had a privilege to be raised with my great grandmother, you know, and I didn't want to lose those values that they put in me just for this business. And so I've always kept true to that. And then when I had my son, you know, and being violated in my family with my own family members and stuff, there was only so much I could do because I was a mom. I was a single mom, and I just wasn't leaving my son and anywhere and everywhere. Even though this was my dream, I knew I had a baby to raise, and I didn't want to leave him in different places and risk him getting violated, molested, raped, or anything like that. So, you know, it's just, you have to, sometimes you just make choices. And I've been very vocal about females in comedy. I've always been an advocate. I've always stood up for us in comedy. And it has cost me a lot.
Wow. It sounds like just from where you started to where you are at now, that's a movie in itself, you might as well say. Now, speaking of movies, you were in Baby Boy, right?
Yeah.
My favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time. Now, explain to me, how did you get that role? Like, did you know John Singleton at that time? Like, how did that come about?
I did not. I knew Kim Whitley. Kim Whitley put me in my first movie.
Okay.
John used to watch, she used to have a talk show on BET called Oh Drama. I don't know if you guys remember. It was with her, Mari Mar, Vanessa Bell Calloway, and it was them talking. It was like the first view or the first real talk or whatever. And it was Kim's show. And John liked the show, but he didn't want the other girls. And so me and Kim were great friends. And so she asked me to come down there and meet John. And I knew John liked women with big titties and stuff. So I did a little research. I came down there, titties all hanging out. Shit. And stuff. Because at that time now I'm learning, okay, I got to learn how to play this game a little bit,
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And John instantly just loved me. And he, we were supposed to be in the movie, like an intricate part of the movie, like when Taraji and Tyrese would get into it. Taraji would wake up in the morning and watch our male bashing show. That was originally the way it was. And so we did a lot of little scenes and stuff. And John came and filmed them himself. And he would put up cue cards and we would just go with it. And he would be laughing so hard. It was his favorite part in the movie. And then they had to cut out 20 minutes of the movie. And because he added that, we got cut, but he put us on the DVD. Wow. And but if you look really closely in the movie, when I think Taraji and Tyrese had made up and he's eating pizza and sitting at the counter, you could see us and you can hear my voice and you could kind of see where they cut to the TV and we're in there talking and stuff or whatever. So that was kind of a break. And then John and I, we're still friends. We would see each other out at the supermarkets and stuff. He was vegan. I'm not vegan, but we would see each other out and we were going to do some amazing things. And when I was in the parking lot on my way to see John when he passed away, and his daughter called the person that I was with, who used to be John's assistant for many years, Jamaica Jatoy, and called him. He was also in the movie, the gay hairdresser anyway. And so called us and said John was gone. And it broke my heart. It really broke my heart because we had just talked about doing things. I'd invite him to my events and he would just say, oh, just keep inviting me. I'll put flyers at his business. I'd go by his office and throw a flyer in there and he would get them. He said, just don't, I'm gonna come to something. Don't. We're gonna do some things this year. And then he went on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to talk about a little bit of your personal life, you being a mother and growing up and with having to be a single mother at that and just the struggles with that. But we'll be right back, folks. Stay with us. Hope Flood's not going nowhere. She'll be right here. We'll be right back.
Introducing recording artist J-Dub the King. Streaming right now on all digital platforms are his singles, Pop That, Straight Up, and Running Back. Make sure you follow him on all social media platforms at J-Dub the King. That's JDUBBTHAKING. And follow on Twitter at JDubTheKing01. For bookings, email bookings4JDubTheKing@gmail.com.
Stuck in my past, about to relapse.
All right, folks, welcome back. Discussions with Jay, special guest Hope Flood. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Now, just wanted to talk briefly in regards to, you were a single mom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so growing up, or not necessarily growing up, but doing and molding and honing into your craft as a single mom, how hard was that?
Oh, it was the hardest thing, Jay. I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I just wouldn't leave my son with anybody. My mother didn't necessarily want to help me with my career. And I look back on it now, my mom is gone, but I look back on it in 1989, I got a baby and I go tell my mama, I'm gonna be a comedian. And my mama like, well, what the fuck is that? You gonna be a what? Does that make money? What the fuck is a comedian and everything? And I said, Mom, I'm gonna tell jokes and I'm gonna get paid. And she was like, if you don't get your ass a job or something, you got a baby. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna show you. I said, I really found the thing that I love to do and I'm good at it. and you should be happy for me. And so there was a lot of times she wouldn't watch my son so I could go out to the clubs. And sometimes I would take him with me. That's why he knows all the comedians. They know him because I would take him to do my sets. And I'd be like, watch my baby while I go in here and do my set because I need this $25 to pay my light bill or whatever. And so they knew him, or he'd be in the back of the comedy club and places I could take him. So I would host events and I'd be like, can I bring my baby with me? And they'd be like, yeah, and he knew how to sit down. And a couple times, I never wanted my son to be in the business and stuff, but he would sit down. And one time I was hosting a comedy talent show. And after it was over, we got ready to leave. And he was about 5 years old and he walking behind me. And I was like, what's wrong? He said, Mommy, I didn't get my turn. And I was like, what is you gonna do? And now my son is an amazing aspiring rapper. Y'all can look him up, Raw Reef, RAWWREEF on SoundCloud and this and that. And he started rapping at about 14. He's 35 now, and but he's an amazing kid. And I don't regret sacrificing a lot of the career to raise my son. He's my best friend. He's my ride or die. He is a good kid. God knew what to give me because he knows I'm crazy and all over the place, but he understood what I was doing. He understood when I did go on the road and I would have to leave him, that we had a good quality of life, after a while when he got older and he could talk and tell me what was going on, or I knew how to tell him how to defend himself. I kept him in karate and, all of those things and stuff. And so, my mom came around after a while, and then my brother helped a lot. And then I got people that I could trust to help me, but I couldn't stay gone long. And that was the other thing. Kids fear abandonment. So I could go about 10 days and then my son start acting up in school and I knew I had to come home, I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. All I would trade is I wish I had picked a better father. That's the only thing I would have traded. I wish that his father and I were boyfriend and girlfriend since we were 14 years old. We would lose each other, find each other. And the last time we found each other at 19, and then I had a baby, but he had a drug addiction and he was a Crip and he was in and out of jail a lot. And, he just didn't, he would just tell us that I just didn't want to ever be around you and when I was high or shooting up or doing heroin or whatever he did, his drugs of choice, he said, I just never wanted you to see me like that. Never wanted to be around. And he said, and it was for the best. But I knew where he was, and I knew his family. They knew me, and they were around. So when I say I raised him by myself, but his father he wasn't far.
Was that more inspiration for you, more motivation, more fire for you to get out there and go get it?
Not necessarily. It was more challenging because I couldn't really go out and get it like I wanted to. When you look at Monique had a team behind her that was amazing. Her brother was her manager, her girlfriend did her hair, somebody else made the clothes. And, like when you see Beyonce, when all they have to do is focus on being great or focus on that, then you could see the result of that. And I just could not totally focus on it because I had a son to raise in California and Los Angeles. So I had to make sure he didn't get into gangs, make sure he didn't go in and out of jail, make sure that, he didn't get on drugs and follow in the footsteps of his dad. Had I known then that the blood, you're only the blood of the mother and the father, and I tell a lot of young girls, be careful who you pick. And all that gangster gang banging stuff for these guys, it looks good until you at school and you had a baby with Killer Mike. Now Killer Mike Jr. at the school trying to kill everybody and stuff. Whatever, it ain't cute no more, So I needed to focus on those things. I needed to make sure that my son was always safe and protected. And so there was a lot of things I could not do. I couldn't run all over the world like I have now, but I could not do it back then. I chose not to, rather.
Very, very powerful words right there. Very powerful words. Now, as far as advice for any upcoming entertainers, what advice would you give, knowing what you know now? What advice would you give anybody that's aspiring to be an actor, actress, comedian?
We don't need another one. We don't need another motherfucking comedian. We don't need another rapper, singer, dancing, jigabooing, jerking, twerking. None of that. We need lawyers. We need doctors. We need nurses. We need entertainment lawyers. We need therapists. We need psychiatrists. We need people like that. We need help. Yeah, okay. We don't need another fucking entertainer. We need some goddamn help. Okay. We don't need nobody else throwing the ball down the field or dunking a basketball. And I'm not trying to discourage you from your dream, but goddamn it, we got enough. So I tell them we don't need no more. And I'm serious about it though. People say, "Hope that's not right." I said, but we need other things in this business and everything. Everybody ain't gonna be famous. Everybody ain't gonna get a sick. They ain't gonna be in movies and TV. They only let so many of us in at a time. I'm saying they only let us in, a few of us in at a time. But I do know people who make money, and that are not famous, and they make a lot of money and they're okay with it, and they still in their field, they still doing what they love to do, and they're okay with it and stuff. But I just tell people, stay true to yourself, especially comedians and stuff. I mean, when I first started, stop being, you need to stop cursing so much. You need to stop being blue. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. And it's like, I had to find myself, and that's what I like. And that's what I love to do. And so I don't make excuses for who I am. I don't make excuses for what I stand for and what I believe, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. I think I'm a fair person. I've helped a lot of comedians along the way. I'm still getting it. I'm still going to get it. I'm still going to get it.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom right there. Now, where can everybody find you? What's going on in the world of Hope Flood today?
Okay. I'm learning how to, be more open to interviews like this. I'm learning how to go on live. People like, Hope, you need a podcast and all this stuff. And I just say, I don't think so. I don't think I'm that interesting that people want to tune into me every week or every day or anything. They people like, you crazy. So I have to reconsider.
You'll be surprised.
I know. So I said that. I said I have to reconsider that. And the opportunity has come for me to really, really pursue it. And it can be very, very lucrative. So it's something I'm going to look into. But I am in the cannabis business right now. My son and I have an amazing cannabis business. People can go to www.highhopes.biz. I'm an infuser. I can infuse and medicate anything. I have over 200 products on my site. I make everything. I make everything from scratch. And if you order cookies today, I make cookies today. If you order brownies today, I make brownies today. So everything is fresh. And I got into this business when I moved back to California in 2012 because my son smoked so much goddamn weed. I said, I got to figure out how we're going to make some money off this shit. And so we started this cannabis business. He handles most of the flower and the running around, and I do a lot of the marketing, and I enjoy it. It is $1 trillion business, but they're trying to keep Blacks and Latinos out of it. They keep changing the laws and the this and the that, and we just keep pushing along as best we can.
And what was that again? That website one more time?
High Hopes, HIGHHOPES.biz, Jay, not
.biz.
.biz.
Okay.
That is the website for that. And we we ship, we do everything. So I have customers, I call them patients because cannabis is healing. They have just said now that cannabis is helping with the coronavirus. Something in the cannabis is helping with. I gotta look it up and research it. So I do cannabis and CBD. It's a healer. It's been around 100,000 years. Jesus used it in the Bible to heal people. When he made the salve to make the blind man see, he used cannabis. It was indica, and he used that. It was called strange plant or cannabosium back then, but it's been around a long time. And the pharmaceutical companies have been fighting cannabis for years because it know that it's a healer. Prescription drugs will never heal you. It's just putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, where cannabis will heal. It even heal cancer, and so that's what they don't want. They want us to be sick. They want us to be dependent on prescription drugs. And so
yeah,
and that's
because the doctors aren't meant to cure. They're meant to treat.
They're just meant to treat. They're not meant to cure. They don't even want to hear about when you go in there and you say, what you been doing? I've been using cannabis. Oh my God, no. And the ones that are really smart, they'll say that's a good thing. Keep on using it. You know, the ones that are open, which are some of the younger doctors, they're very open. Some of these older doctors, you couldn't tell them nothing about it at all, you know. And so that's what I do. I also have a hat business, and my lip glitter business and stuff, my t-shirt line. So I try to stay busy. I instead of try to keep money coming in.
You're not trying. You are staying busy.
Thank you. You know, so my cannabis business really took off when the pandemic happened. And I was just really messing around with it, Jay. And I would take gummies on the road with me, and my line be out the door, people buying gummies, and other comedians, you know, trying to sell t-shirts and DVDs. And they like, what you over there selling? I was like, I'm selling what the people want. And stuff like that. And then that's how I built up a clientele. So, but you can find me, like I said, highhopes.biz, hopefla.com, my hat business, hatsbyhope.biz. Let's see what else. Hope.flood on Instagram. But I have like 5 Instagram pages that I don't know how to get rid of them. I don't know who put them up. 3 of them I can get into, but the rest of them, I've just been trying to figure out how to get them down. I don't know how to do it stuff. So hopefully I can find somebody that's a good social media influencer that can help me get it down. And Hope Flood on Facebook is also me. So that's how they can find me.
Absolutely. Now, are you have any shows coming up? People can get, be able to see you live in person?
I'm doing, I've been getting back into it because when the pandemic happened, it was really a shock, because it's like this, Jay. It's different when you take a break from from something, you know. It's different when you take a break from your podcast. That's the thing you do. It's different when you decide to take your break. But when something that you love to do, that you've been doing for 25 and 30 years, is taken away from you, it affects you, you know, in a way that you're like, this is my bread and butter. This is how I make my money. What am I going to do? You know, and all of us comedians, we were just like, and then we thought this thing was going to be over. Like it happened in March. We was like, okay, by August, you know, we'll be good. They'll have it all figured out. Hell, we operating like a third world country, you know, like you know, but I think this thing has been here and it has gotten out of hand. If you look at the Lysol cans, it says kills coronavirus. So this thing is not new. It just has gotten out of hand. I think that we have been dirty as a country, and it has just gotten out of hand. And also, I just believe that God is just mad. I think God is mad and he is tired. I think that, and he dropped something in my spirit, and he said, you glorify entertainment, I'm gonna shut it down. You took prayer out of schools, I'm gonna shut it down. You're not with the right mate that I destined you to be with, I'm gonna let you deal with your mate one-on-one. You glorify sports, I'm gonna shut it down. And you glorify everything. You give everybody the credit except me. So I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna put everybody. If you notice, when it first happened, no matter whether you was rich or poor, all of us were on the same playing field. We're all on the same level. And God said, now allow me to reintroduce myself. And that's just how I feel.
Oh, nice. Well, I know I caught you on Quake's house on Sirius XM. Man,
I tears their ass up, don't I, Jay?
Oh man, I'm not gonna say what he calls you, but man,
he calls me Lucifer.
Oh, it's hilarious. If you guys have not caught that show on Sirius XM, Laugh Out Loud Radio, channel 96. Hope Flood and Quake on Quake's house, absolutely hilarious.
Absolutely. People tell me when I was sick and I couldn't get on the show for about a month, they said they got so many calls, and they were like, and then people inboxing me like, did Quake get mad at you and fire you? Is that why you're the only one put him in check, and you're the only one you don't really deal with? I said, no, it's really just love and mutual respect. And that's what he wants me to do. That's how he wants me to be. And that's how I am. It makes for good radio. I did radio in Dallas. I moved to Dallas in 2004 to do radio, and they paid me a lot of money to do radio. And I was with a person whose show it was. He was from Charlotte. His name is BJ Murphy. And he just allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do, as well as the owner. It was a single owner station and stuff, so it wasn't a big corporation where you have a lot of restrictions other than cursing and things like that. But it really helped groom me. I just felt like after I did it for 3 years, I was born to do radio. We took the station from a 0.09 to a 2.4 in less than 2 years. That's unheard of, but they allowed me to say whatever I wanted to say, just like I do in Quake's House, just not with cursing or sexual content. And 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 I just felt like I'm born to do radio. I would love to get back into doing radio. And so when they invited me to do Quake's House, we used to go in the studio, which is Kevin Hart's studio. We used to go in and sit around and drink and smoke and talk shit. And then when the pandemic, they were like, we got to figure out another way. But yeah, people thought I was gone because of that. I was just sick. I couldn't get on. And even when I came back on, I still had oxygen, and I telling my story where they told me not to talk. And then Quake said, you have to do what the doctor say. You need to shut the fuck up now. Quit talking. But he's one of my best friends. And I say this to I say it all the time, and he gets a little embarrassed. But when my mother died, Quake always told me, if you ever need me, call me. And my mother had died. I hadn't been on the road. I hadn't been making money in 2004, really, because I knew she was sick and I didn't want to be somewhere across the world as she died, and I couldn't get back to her in time. So I was just taking gigs locally here and there. And then she passed, and I didn't have enough money to bury her. And I called him and I told him, and he just basically had his people meet me with a check and said, do what you need to do. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. Other comedians sent money, some more, and just people, that's why I love comedians and I love comedy. I do a convention, Jay, for comedians every year. And it's workshops and seminars. And every year I quit. I say, I ain't doing shit for y'all. Y'all mentally ill, y'all crazy, and forget it. But it's an assignment from God. It's a part of my legacy to leave. And I did it for, this would be my 10th year had the pandemic hadn't happened. But this is my 9th year. And I did it in LA for 7 years. And then last year I did it in Atlanta, and it worked well in Atlanta. So I'm doing it again in Atlanta, August 28th through September the 1st. I haven't put up everything with the site, but comedians come from all over the country and for workshops and seminars. So I took 30 years of what I learned and didn't learn in this business, and I put it in workshops and seminars for comedians to win. Nice. To not have to spin their wheels for 25 and 30 years. They have other gifts inside of them other than stand-up, radio, podcasts, voiceover work, commercials, that they have no idea that those talents are in them. And so that's what it does. It just really stirs up their gift so they can figure out other things they can do, make money. This social media stuff. There are a lot of social media internet comedians now that are making $40,000 and $50,000 a month, just doing videos. And so that's what it does. And it's an amazing thing. And it's taught by other comedians. Rodney Perry comes and he teaches a improv thing, Coco improv class. Coco Brown comes and teaches from stand-up to screen, how to get on television. She does a lot of television work. Commercials. Shane comes and teaches a class on social media. So Lamont Farrell, who's written for many sitcoms, Parent Trap and all these sitcoms, he comes and teaches a class. Karen Cisse, she's been in The Walking Dead. So I all of these people come and they impart that wisdom and teach workshops and seminars to other comedians and help them to win. So the site is comicsrockconvention.com. It won't be up until probably either around February 1st or something like that, but just look out for it. And then they get to showcase at, and then I do an award show. I did an amazing award show, Jay. I want to give people their flowers while they're alive. People are dropping dead left and right. So yes, I honored Marsha Warfield, J. Anthony Brown, Ricky Smiley, Gary Abdul, who had the first comedy club in Atlanta. Him and Earthquake owned it. And then I did Promoter of the Year, local promoter Maurice Sims there, who is a beast with Atlanta comedy. He's so committed to Black urban comedy in Atlanta. I did an Internet Comedian of the Year award, and it was just amazing. I had musical acts, and it was just something like, it was like on the lines of the BET Awards or something, because nobody gives us awards. We don't have a comedy awards and stuff. I just want to give people their flowers while they're alive. And so we're doing it again. They talked me back into doing it. So I'm looking for sponsors and vendors. I'm looking for somebody who gets sponsors. I have an amazing sponsorship package. I'm good at selling. I'm just not a closer. So I really need somebody to help me in that area. And It's amazing. It's an amazing event. It's amazing
And
convention.
again, for the sponsors that's looking to want sponsors or vendors that want to be able to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you again? Is that at hopeflood.com?
Hopeflood.com or hope@hopeflood.com. And if they're interested in vending, we had some amazing vendors. They did really well. People came with all kinds of different, wonderful, amazing stuff. I went to every booth and bought everything and stuff. So we're doing it at a hotel this year. So everything is self-contained, and we'll have a vendor area. And yeah, absolutely. Hope@hopeflood.com. If they're interested in the Comics Rock convention or anything else I got going on, you can hit me up. I'm available. I'm around. If you hit me on Facebook at Hope Flood, I got 3 Facebook pages. I answer everything. On my Instagrams, I answer all of that stuff. So don't think you don't, I answer it all.
Well, Miss Hope Flood, it's been a pleasure having you on the show here today. You're going to be doing, I know you have some amazing things in the future being set up for you, and God willing, you are going to get everything that you're destined to have.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
Folks,
received that.
thank you so much, folks. It's been a great one. Thank you for joining us on our episode of Discussions with Jay. Make sure you catch us on the next episode each and every Friday. Take care and see you next time, folks.